Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Workday Physique. I'm your host as usual, Ajitesh, and in today's episode, I wanted to talk a bit about confidence, extroversion, authenticity, and feeling comfortable in your own skin. This is a topic that is quite close to my heart because I've been working on my self-confidence for many years now, like since I was in school. So, since I was a teenager. And even today, when I wake up on few days, I don't feel, like my best version. I don't feel as confident as I would feel on my best days. And this is something that I have to still actively work upon to make sure that I am showing up as my 100% best self. Okay. And this is something that I've seen so many people struggle with. And that was the prime driver for me to create the brand Workday Physique, because I believe that every person deserves to experience what it feels like to be truly confident, to be truly 100% comfortable in being the person they are. And it is an experience that is within reach for every single person, provided they're willing to put in the work for it. Right? And there's nothing like working on your body, working on your mind to realize that vision for yourself. So today's episode, I just want to share a bit of my experience, my thought process behind this. And I hope you find it useful in some way. So when it comes to things like confidence, a lot of people seem to have the opinion that some people are just born that way. It is just an innate ability. Like some people are just more charismatic, more assertive. These are just character traits. That is what a lot of people like to believe. But that is not the case. Personally, I have a very high interest in learning about human psychology. It's just a subject that fascinates me because humans are such diverse creatures, but still at the very fundamental level, we have certain frameworks that we use to function in this world. All right. And things like confidence, feeling great about yourself, being able to assert your own opinion, these are just skills. These are not character traits. Some people are naturally more confident because of things like they have attractive faces, attractive bodies, and from childhood itself, they have a lot of social validation. So when that happens while growing up, that positive feedback from the environment, that is what leads to them being more confident. But that doesn't necessarily always translate to a positive self-image of themselves. All right, so you'd see a lot of very attractive models, superstars have body image issues. That's why they're always, spending money trying to improve their appearance, while a lot of people would consider them to already have perfect faces, perfect bodies. And this need not only be, restricted to superstars, celebrities. If even people around us who would be considered really perfect by a lot of people have a lot of body image issues. So it is not just that, but that is a very significant factor. So if you have grown up in a social environment where you were constantly exposed to positive feedback from the external world, you'd grow up to be confident. But on the other hand, if you did not grow up with those kind of positive experiences, or if you just had average experiences like most of us, then you would not necessarily have that skill, the skill of being confident. Okay, and that is something that you would have to work on if it is something that you actually value. So for me personally, I was not, I would say, as comfortable being myself when I was younger. And this has taken work. I mean, I would say even as recently as the past year when I started this brand, and I had to start social media, right? And this is something that I've never done. I'm not a social media person at all. But I had to do this because I wanted this brand to be established. I wanted to make this happen. So this was extremely uncomfortable for me. But today, when I look back, I think I've made some great progress, okay, in terms of being able to show up as myself without having any hesitation. So this has taken work for me. So 1 year back, I would not have been able to do this, but because I put in the work, I've developed this skill. And it goes for any kind of, situation where you need that kind of confidence in life. You have to be willing to put in the work. And it helps when you have an attractive face or an attractive body to go with it. It helps because humans are social creatures, and everyone is always making judgments about us based on our appearances. Okay, and this is me not just making speculations. This is stuff that is backed by research. So people associate values like trustworthiness, honesty, credibility with attractive people. So if you have a very attractive face, you have a very attractive body, people consider you as someone attractive. They also tend to consider you as someone who is honest, someone who is trustworthy, and someone who is more reliable in general. But think of it in this way. If you had to trust someone with, say, the care of a family member, would you trust someone who was dressed very well, who spoke really well, who seemed like they knew their stuff? Would you trust someone like that? Or would you trust someone who was wearing ragged clothes, did not look well kempt, looked like they just, lived on the streets? So it is these kind of judgments that people make subconsciously, that I would not trust that person to look after my child. I would not trust that person with my wallet. So when you're making these subconscious decisions, it's based on a lot of these non-verbal cues. So the same thing is happening to us 24/7 as well when people are looking at us, when people are talking. So it helps when you leverage that to work on your body, to work on your grooming, so that when you meet someone for the first time, or when you go out there, put yourself out there, you create a very impactful first impression. And this makes a huge difference because when other people around you, they reflect it back at you, that they treat you in a manner where they see you as this authority figure or someone who is very confident, someone who's attractive, their behavior towards you is different from what it would be if they were interacting with someone else. And you can see this all the time. I don't have to tell you this. You go outside, you see how people talk to very attractive individuals. You see how their behavior changes. It is evident. Like, I don't have to tell you that. You can go outside. You have seen this yourself, I'm very sure. So you need to be able to leverage that. And that is why I think it is so important for you to put in the work, to stay in shape, to lose extra body fat, to make an effort, to bring yourself into that state of body, state of mind where you become this person who exudes confidence just by virtue of being in shape, feeling good in their bodies. All right. So that is just one aspect of it. So like I said, feeling confident is a skill, something which I struggled with during my earlier days, but I knew this was something that I wanted to develop. I wanted to really work upon this. I wanted to build a skill really bad. I wanted it bad. Okay, that is how I'll put it. So I read stuff. Okay, I read about human psychology, like what actually works. Why do some people feel more confident? And I learned a lot of things. And a lot of it, like I just talked about, came from the feeling of feeling great about yourself. Okay, feeling great in your skin. being in great shape. So that was a key component of it. Taking care of yourself is a must if you want to feel that way. So I put in the work in my body, into my appearance, into my grooming, so that I could become that person. And this was not something that came easy. I had to do this over years. All right. And if you want to feel the same way, you too have to do that. The second thing that I had to realize was that I was not perfect, and neither is anyone else. So when you try to portray an image of yourself which is not you, which is not the perfect self that you think you should be, that is when problems start to arise, because you're always trying to portray yourself as someone who you are not. And this is where the concept of authenticity comes into the picture. And this is like a buzzword now, I feel, in 2022, when everyone is talking about, oh, you should be authentic, you should be authentic. I keep hearing this all the time, but like no one seems to know what the hell authenticity is, because I see a lot of people preaching authenticity, but these people are not comfortable in their own skin. Like you can see that, okay? So authenticity is not some weird notion of how you should be sharing all your sob stories with everyone, how you should be sharing all your showing all your skeletons in the closet, that is not what it is, because I feel like that is what a lot of people seem to think it is, and that is not doing anything except making a lot of other people feel uncomfortable because they don't want to see your deep dark secrets. What authenticity is, I'm going to just read a quote from Brené Brown. Okay, so she says, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It is about the choice to show up and be real. The choice to be honest. The choice to let our true selves be seen. So if you reflect on this statement, it is not about telling your secrets to the world. It is not about showing how you're crying every day and recording that and putting it on an Instagram reel. It's not that. It is about being the person that you are in your body and mind internally, and being able to express it outwards without filtering it. So the way I am speaking to you right now, that is how I speak to anyone else. That is how I am in real life. That is how I portray myself on social media. What you hear, what you see is what you get. So there are no multiple versions of me. And this is how I talk to myself in my head as well. Like when I'm thinking, it is not a different individual. This is it. So what I think, I try to project that. And I feel like that has made a tremendous difference in the way I approach unknown situations, in the way I think about presenting myself. Because earlier on, I had this notion of being able to, portray myself a certain way, in a certain ideal way, okay, to make a great impression, which I don't think is a bad thing, all right, because we all have flaws, we all have lack of skills that we need to work upon over time, but that doesn't mean that you have to hide your flaws to show yourself as someone who you are not. All right. So if I'm someone who does not know something, I don't have to portray myself as someone who does know that. All right. So I don't have to fake it in front of people to show that, I am good at something when I'm actually not. All right. So if I don't know a certain language, I don't have to pretend like I do. If I don't know a certain skill, I don't have to pretend like I do. If I don't like something, I don't have to pretend like I like it. All right. So this is something that has been a skill that I have acquired only very recently, I would say, because the insecurities that I would feel about myself, about showing up as my real self, would prevent me from doing things that other people who did not have those insecurities would do very easily. And especially in social media, this is so difficult for a lot of people to make video content. And that you see all the time. People hesitate to show up on camera because they have this idea of what they should look like, what they should appear like to others. So this ideal image that they have of themselves is different from what their real self is. And they hesitate to be their real self and put it out there because they hesitate about, being judged by other people when they see it, which is perfectly fine because that is how most of us feel. That is our default state. It's totally fine because as humans, we are social animals. We want to be accepted by the tribe, by the people around us. So we are always trying to project what we think the tribe, the people around us will find to be acceptable. All right. But this creates a lot of pressure to be someone who we are not. All right. But I'm here to tell you this, that if you want this pressure to be completely gone, you have to let yourself be authentic. And that is to understand that you will never be perfect. You would have your flaws. You would have your insecurities. And to be okay with that and to let those insecurities and flaws be a part of yourself is what it means to be authentic. And other people value that. Okay. So, so that is really the core message. And I don't think that this is something I have perfected in a way, because like I said, some days I wake up, I don't feel 100% like myself. And I do have to put in effort to, tell myself that it's okay to feel that way. That it's okay to not be 100% on some days, and to reiterate these same thoughts to myself. Okay, that I don't have to show up as someone who I am not, and it's totally fine. Okay, now we are talking about. Wait, I lost my track of thought a bit. I just had a brain freeze moment that is right now. Okay, so we are talking about confidence, extroversion, and authenticity, right? So I think I touched a bit upon confidence, authenticity. I wanted to touch a bit upon extroversion because a lot of people seem to think that being an extrovert is, just someone who is very good at people, some people who like to just talk a lot, very loud, very stereotypical, that outgoing nature. And introverts are just, socially awkward, like to stay by themselves, which is not entirely incorrect. Those are traits which a lot of extroverts do have, introverts do have. But extroversion is just, you like being around people. You like to derive energy from being surrounded by people. Introverts are just people who derive energy from being by themselves. But putting labels like that on us, on ourselves, I feel that is a big hindrance when it comes to being able to express our true selves. Because if you label yourself as an introvert and you say, oh, you know what, this is why I cannot do video. This is why I cannot go and talk to other people because I'm an introvert. No, it is because you have not worked on those skills. It's not because you're an introvert. Even introverts can do that. I'm an introvert. I'm comfortable on video, but I have not always been comfortable on video. All right. This is a skill that I had to work on. I think 70 to 80% of the video skills that I have built have been over the past couple of months. All right. Because initially, Workday Physique was just a podcast. All right. It is not, there was not supposed to be any kind of video content. So I had to adapt because I had to make content for social media to create awareness for the brand. And that is just something that I had to learn. So this is not something that comes naturally to me. And if I had just told myself, you know what, I'm an introvert, I cannot do this, I would have never done this. So you have to understand that creating labels like this for yourself, that is what's holding you back. So try not to do that, because these are all just skills. These are mutually exclusive things. Okay, you being an introvert, that means you enjoy your alone time, very good. But you can also build up the skill to speak in public, to make a video. All right, separate things. Similarly, like being authentic, separate from all of these. Okay, being authentic is just understanding that you are not perfect, you're imperfect, and you're okay with that in every environment that you show up. Okay, so you cannot be like some other person inside and have the pressure to portray yourself as someone else externally, because that is what most people try to do, and that is fatiguing. Okay, and that is fatiguing. So if you have an idea of authenticity in your head, that, you know, I have to share all my deepest, darkest secrets with everyone now, you know, I have to cry on camera, which is frankly very weird. I've seen people do that on camera, on social media. But I mean, if that is part of your real self, then go ahead. But, you know, a lot of the times it just appears inauthentic. So you don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is show up as yourself. You don't have to fake anything. All right? Nothing. If you're someone who doesn't share their personal life with even people around you in the real physical world, you don't have to do that on social media. Like, you don't, in order to appear authentic. So the point here being your real self is what authenticity is. Extroversion has nothing to do with that, or with confidence. All right, these are like very separate things. And the last thing that I just wanted to touch a bit upon is being comfortable in your own skin. Now, body image issues are so common, and I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of this, because that is not my area of expertise. Like, if you are someone who is suffering from body image issues, you'd need to consult a professional and get some help, get some counseling, therapy, whatever, you know, they recommend. Go to someone qualified. Don't go to people in the fitness industry looking for solutions for your body image issues, because you are not going to get solutions from these people. A lot of the people in the bodybuilding community, the fitness community themselves have chronic body image issues. Okay, you should see the kind of memes that float around in the bodybuilding community, making jokes about things like body dysmorphia. It's just very ridiculous. So, being comfortable in your own skin. Well, I just want to share my own experience here. All right. So personally, I do link a lot of my confidence to being in shape. I like my outfits to fit me. I like when I fall in the more, you know, attractive bodies category when I'm in a room. I like to have that feeling. And I think that has a carryover effect to the way I present myself, the way I carry myself. And so I would not deny it that being in shape is important for my confidence. All right. And anyone who has lost a significant amount of body fat, has put on some muscle, has transformed themselves physically, would agree with this. It does a huge deal for your confidence. So this is something that I truly encourage. Okay, I don't like when people say, you know, it is all about feeling great about yourself. It is all about, you know, how you feel about it. Is about that, but it is also about taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, the way your body would feel, it's just forced positivity. All right. The other day I was reading a newsletter. I can't remember who it was by, but it talked about something called forced gratitude. Okay. It's how gratitude journaling is like this trend now. So a lot of people are like, oh, you should be grateful, which is good for your well-being. But there is also something known as forced gratitude, which is when you're in situations which are clearly negative, clearly doing you harm. But instead of going and asking for what you need as a remedy, for example, you have a toxic boss who is making life miserable for you, but instead of making a complaint, you are feeling grateful that you have a job. So that is just forced gratitude. So the author talked about how this can lead to gratitude traps. Okay, she's a clinical psychologist from what I remember, the author. So she's not just some random person on the internet making these things up. All right. So yeah, what was I talking about? So yes, so if you are not taking care of yourself, your body is out of shape, you don't feel good about yourself, your health doesn't feel right, you're always sick, how do you force yourself to feel comfortable in your own skin? I mean, I don't see there would be this huge anomaly in that case. Okay, so you have to take action. You have to understand what the situation is, what the reality is, and instead of trying to imagine scenarios, being aware of what the reality is and taking steps to fix that would be the quickest way to get you from low confidence to high confidence, instead of forcing yourself to believe that I am comfortable in my own skin, I'm comfortable in you don't have to affirm that when you actually are, when you feel great in your body. You don't have to tell yourself every morning that I feel great in my own body, because you will wake up feeling great in your own body. All right. The trouble usually arises with body image issues when people expose themselves a lot to these manipulated pictures on social media, manipulated imagery of celebrities, of fitness influencers, and they feel like they're not adequate enough. But that is like a different issue altogether. But if that is something that you are dealing with, then one tip that I found very useful was to just remove those kind of images from your feed, unfollow those people, try to curate your feed with a variety of body types, and that would make a huge difference for you. All right. And you also have to understand that if you work on your body, you will get to a place where you will have lesser body fat, you'll have more muscle mass, and you will look better. If you put in the work, that is going to happen. At the same time, when you accept that right now you are not in that place, all right, you're not in the body that is considered ideal, but you're okay with that because you're putting in the work. And being aware of our imperfections and being okay with that, that is what we're trying to achieve, all right? And at the same time, striving to become better. And I'm not saying that you have to do this, but this is something that I try to do. Because like I said, some days I wake up, I still don't feel like I'm 100%. It's a work in progress. But I show up as my current self without needing to, without trying to, portray myself as something else, or without trying to project myself as something that I'm not. Okay. So I think all of us can do that. Understand that we are not perfect in our current bodies, in our current state of life, and we can still keep on working towards where we want to be, while at the same time, being authentic and not being afraid to just be our real selves. So I think that these things are so related. Being comfortable in your own skin, that is not trying to falsify your body image as something that it is not. For example, if you know you're out of shape and you're trying to tell yourself that, oh no, you know what, I am in shape, that is not being comfortable in your own skin. So when you understand that you are out of shape, you're taking care of your body, and you accept the reality as it is, I feel like that is what we should be striving towards, because that takes off so much pressure from, you don't have to wake up every morning and repeat affirmations that I'm comfortable in my own skin, I'm comfortable in my own skin, because you understand that there is some degree of discomfort because I'm out of shape, but I'm working towards it. So that will have a carryover effect to your confidence. That will make you come across as more authentic. I feel like everything is so interconnected here. So that is it really. That is all that I wanted to talk about. And this is just a topic that is close to my heart because I want other people to experience what I experienced, what I have experienced through my transformation, through the past many years that I have been working on myself, because it opens up a whole different world of possibilities, not in the physical world, in your brain. You would not understand this until you decide to make the change, because the things that you limit yourself from doing, the things that you hold yourself back from doing, are not because you don't have the opportunities in the real world. It's because of the limitations that are there in your head, in your mind. And the day you realize this and you take active steps to work on it, it's only a matter of time before those limitations are lifted, and you will see everything with a whole different lens. Okay, and that is really my vision, to make you experience what is actually possible. So I hope that this episode was useful in some way, that you found it to be either educating or entertaining. But if you liked it, please leave a rating on the app that you're listening on right now. And I'll see you very soon. If you want to learn more about Work the Physique coaching, go to workthephysique.com or send me a DM on Instagram. I'm always available on the DMs and in the DMs. Yeah. And I'll see you very soon. Until then, stay safe. Damn, I always miss. I'm just like stuttering now. Until then, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay consistent.